What you know?
Welcome to Bad Dads.
Yeah, it's a podcast so good. It's still bad. Yeah, it's not positive. I'm Josh.
I'm Ron. And we're glad you're here for episode 2.
I'm bad.
Episode 2. Just keep rolling. I don't even think we need to stop.
Why
stop?
Why stop? It's stupid. Yeah, I'm just.
What are we going to edit it out and make it look like? Let's do it over.
We use Riverside AI or whatever, dude. Oh, do we get sued if I say that?
I hope we get it sponsored.
Yeah.
By plugging Riverside.fm using their AI program. Until they sponsor us, we're not doing an ad.
Yeah, they don't deserve it. That's too much work.
Yeah. It has been a very interesting process here, learning how to hold my face in front of the microphone, number one.
The things we learned from 1 to episode 2.
Yeah. So before we introduce today's show, we might as well just sprinkle in some intention, which is to also kind of share the journey of podcasting. I went full Ricky Bobby right there.
To do with
I didn't know what to do with my hands if you're watching this on video. But we'll sprinkle in the lessons learned. There are a couple of, I guess you call them blog posts on the website, bad-dads.com. And as time permits, we'll update and upload any of this. But part of that was to kind of just go through the process of setup. So sharing an outline for the creative brief for the show. Because I think if anyone's listening that has ever been interested in podcasting, has never done it, I think for Josh and I both, I think we agree. If we have a document like that, it's very helpful.
It's incredibly helpful. The other part about it, though, right, is because it's intentional.
Yeah.
I've never done a podcast before.
Yeah, me neither.
This guy's crazy.
Clearly.
Listen, but it's good.
I mean, for both of us.
Yeah.
That wasn't a diss at you.
Yeah. First, circle back.
I wasn't throwing shade.
What did you? Oh my goodness. You crazy. Luckily, I'm dressed like sunshine, so even if you try to throw shade, I'd still be brighter than it, and there would be no shade because I have the thing. That makes sense. Go Lakers.
And I'm dressed like Sadness from Inside Out.
Inside Out, yeah. 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We rode that ride at Disneyland. Did you? California Adventure?
I did. Yes. Yep. Bree, my wife Brianna, and both my sons, Jaden and Nathan, refused. So I was like, Melbell, let's roll. So they went on Incredicoaster, and then we hit the Inside Out thing, dude.
That's so funny. So Lucy and I rode that ride while Sarah, my wife, was on the Incredicoaster with the boys.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's weird, dude. I freaking love it.
That's the combo. So that's the pro tip for dads out there. Take your dad. And actually, I thought we rode Sadness, like the little balloon, the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
But it turned out it was purple. I think it was a purple one. I think we were looking at Sadness and for some reason thought we were in that one.
Yeah.
But
I think we got what's the elephant? Like boinky boink.
Oh, bing bong.
Bing bong.
Who's your friend? Who's your friend?
Bing bong, bing bong.
Yes.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was good. It was a fun little ride.
That's short right. It is good.
Like our daughters.
Short and sweet. Well,
well,
yeah. We'll see.
When they're on the ride.
Yeah.
And then once they got off.
Yes. Whole other story. But no,
we turned to Sadness.
This guy, we were talking earlier about like strengths and weaknesses and being strong where the other one is weak. Actually, I was just talking about that. And he's very, very organized. So jumping into like doing a podcast, I was just like, turn on the mics and let's go. But like, there's a whole setup. He had a whole bunch of pictures on there of like different types of setups that you could do. And this whole software and everything else is just 100%. 100%. I haven't done much for this podcast.
That's a lie. It takes two to make a thing go right.
It takes two to make them out of sight.
And luckily for you, we're recording this via video, so we would be in sight.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
We would be in sight because of the way that you're able to see.
Yes, like sight as in vision.
Correct.
Yes.
Like from like.
But not corrected vision.
No. Well, it could be.
My wife has corrected vision.
Yes, I'm wearing contacts.
Are you?
I am.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. And you and I just contacted each other.
That's right.
Okay.
And we hope that we're making contact with you very soon.
That's right.
Enough about us.
Circling back.
But more about us. On today's episode, Josh is going to share his bad dad story. So if you watched episode 1, that was just freeform. It was literally meant to be a test, like we said in the episode. It was a 46-minute test, which is probably shortest ever. But Josh is going to tell a really cool story. So when you told me this story, I think I'd say the takeaways were self-doubt, second guessing the decisions that you're making and serious decisions or big decisions, and difficulty trusting, trusting yourself, but also trusting a higher power.
Absolutely.
And that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, see, that's the man who listens. That's awesome. But yeah, this, I was reflecting on like, it's funny, like, okay, like when was I terrible? When was I terrible to my kids, right? Like when was I horrible to them? And since there was too many to count, I was like, let me think of something else. But no, I was reflecting a lot. So I'll just jump in, which is, this was our 5th Christmas here. So before we moved here May 30th.
Here in San Diego.
Here in San Diego, yes, for the listeners.
Founded by the Germans.
That's right. Hermans.
Oh, Hermans.
Yeah.
The G is a soft.
It's a soft G. Not to say that the G is soft, like he's soft.
Oh, no. We'd never say that.
No. He's just soft because he doesn't need to be abrasive to be effective.
Yeah. And that's, I think, quick fun fact is Pee Wee Herman is related to.
So good. Also, Herman. Her and man make a baby.
Oh, and then
that creates kids. Then now her and man are mom and dad. And what if dad is not good sometimes? Then he also qualifies to be a
bad dad. So that's, for the uneducated out there, that's just, I think, really taking you down the chronology of how far back in time bad dads go.
Yeah.
To the founding of San Diego is the moral of the story.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story. So like you can like Google it.
Yeah, it's if you come to San Diego, it's all the monuments, Cabrillo National Monument.
Oh yes.
In St. Juan, I think.
Yeah.
Who this place is named after.
Yep, nailed it. You guys already know this is gonna happen in between. Just go with it.
And this is why you start with a document and structure, and then you just wing it.
That's right.
It's like a speech, right? You write the speech, and then they say, "Don't read the speech," and so you just wing it.
So you wing it. Yeah, that's it. No, so jumping back, right? So we moved here May 30th, 2020.
This was you just passed your 5th Christmas in San Diego.
Yes. Yep. So prior to that, I grew up in Chino. My wife grew up in Azusa. We got married. We moved to Upland. So in an Empire, kind of like that area. Yeah.
East LA? No.
Sorry.
Was that insulting?
No, that wasn't insulting.
To
like I just
in East LA?
Yeah, I don't want to claim because
okay.
When LA is involved, you don't claim set. Also, real talk. At least when we're recording this, LA is on fire. So.
Oh yeah.
Prayers up for them, all
Absolutely.
of them out there for sure. That's incredible, in a bad way. So okay, here goes the story.
Yeah.
So I've worked at my place of work for now 10 years, and so in various positions, things of that nature, right? And so there was an opportunity to be able to get an increase to get my family, to kind of a better place. Because for everyone listening, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's roughly like 600 square feet, and there was 5 of us. right? So Melody, our daughter, was super young, so at least she could still sleep in the bed. She tries to now. I kick her straight in the knee, respectfully. But so that's only going to work for so long. And when we first moved into this, we were there for like 13 years in that apartment complex. We had a single bedroom, and then we went to the 2 bedroom. And it was nice for a minute, but then like the last 4 years or whatever, just on the other side of the fence, like the same white van, the same crackheads, right? It was run down. If the kids wanted to play outside, I was outside like doing Nerf gun battles with them, just so they could be outside and play, because I wouldn't trust them to be outside by themselves. And so, as dad, this is not the story, but this is a part of feeling like a bad dad, right? Like what sort of livelihood am I providing for my children, right? Mm-hmm. To be safe? Am I comfortable? Am I too scared to take risks? And that's sort of where this all came into play. There's an opportunity for a position. A good friend of mine, he might be on the show in a couple of in a couple of these episodes. But he was my boss at the time, and he was just like, listen, man, I have this opportunity for you to come out and to take on this role. This role would be a substantial promotion for yourself. Here's the caveat is, got to move to San Diego. And I was like, oh, hey, listen, first of all, the promotion part with the increase, I'm about that. Yeah. Listen, all day. Okay, I'll take that. Let's talk about the San Diego thing. Like, relax. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure it's 2020. You know what I mean? So I was like, digital time, like technology, whatever. Yeah. So he's like, no, listen, like that's the deal, right? You got to be here. You got to be with the team. You got to be able to like think about it, pray about it. Whatever. Get back to me. You have until, excuse me, you have until June 1st. I'm like, okay. And when he told me this, it was like the middle of April 2020. Okay. When he told me that, right? And I wasn't like
by the end of the day.
Well, right. He was like, well, let me know. But if you know him, he's going to be like, but what's really in the way? He was like, that'll be someone. What was that? We can't hide it. His wrist is talking to him right now. I heard GPS.
We'll take this thing up. They don't sponsor the show anyway.
Gangsters provide smiles. GPS. Mm-hmm. Moving forward.
So it stands for.
So yeah, and he's moved his family at previous times before. So I was like, okay.
So quick pause. He's like, okay, got this opportunity. I want to give you enough time where I can have this weigh so heavily on your shoulders you can contemplate every part of it. Plus, give me enough time to guilt you as much as humanly possible into the decision that I'm confident I know you're going to make, but I'll just gotta let you drag it out anyway.
Yeah, and then
kind of like that.
You're tracking, and then just one more cherry on the top of it, which is like, but listen, it's all good if you want to stay. Like, I'm just saying, June 1st, we're gonna go and explore other options. So like, you can still do what you're doing. Like, okay, there's no job loss, right?
Yeah.
But we're just gonna explore other options. So I remember I was like, gosh dang it, dude. I'm taking this to prayer, and I was like, okay, God, like, dude, all right, help me out. Let me discern this thing. Like, this is a great opportunity. I'm looking outside as I'm thinking this, and there goes that crackhead again. We literally,
again.
So this side was like a Caro's, and then just an empty parking lot, and then van crackheads. On this side of the apartment was like a koi pond, but like a koi pond selling business, whatever. But like the backside of it, where the dumpster is and stuff. So I remember this one time on a Saturday, like this brother's dude, he's dropping verses, like just scripture. And you gonna tell me that you can't be raised up today? Oh, you gonna be raised up today? Oh, you think that's funny? And then me and Bree was like, oh, he's preaching. Like, oh, let's see what's up. We opened up the blinds. He is talking to the dumpster. There's nobody there. And I said, we gotta get up out of here. We gotta get up out of here. And then Bree was just gonna be like, amen, she screamed it, and he looked, and, ah! And then she goes down, dude. It was a whole thing. Anyway, so as I'm just like, all right, Lord, like, is this something I'm going to do? Because I am scared. Little background is at this time the piston blew through the engine block of my truck. Bam, gone. Right, just it went 3 miles an hour. I sold it for like $300 for parts. Right, so now we're down to one car. I'm literally, this is like the back of my day, but this really happened. Yeah. I'm riding to my bike to and from work, right? So it's like 5 miles every day. Loved it for what it did to the love handles, and it helped out the cardio, but tough, right? And so that's the element that I'm in, right? Scraping by. They're jacking up rent like it's a house, right? In good old Southern California. So anyway, there's all that mixture here. And so, yeah, please, welcome. It's fine. I love it.
Yeah.
That's the element in the place that I'm in when I'm discerning this opportunity. Okay, so fast forward, not really. I tell Bree, right, and she's like, "Move? What are you talking about? Like all our families here and da da da." At the same time, the irony is every anniversary, we would spend that anniversary in San Diego. I have one aunt, my Aunt Linda. Mwah, love you.
Hi, Linda.
She lives about like 20 minutes from here in Mira Mesa. So we would go and we'd go there, visit and hang out there for our anniversaries. So the idea, and we're always like, man, we'll always retire out here. We were thinking about that. So the idea sounded good, but then both of us just sort of had it's scary, dude. It's scary to be able to move, and then you start thinking, so that's just in your person, but then you start thinking about your kids. Like Melody was too young. Nathan, he was kind of like he didn't care, you know. But Jaden's in 5th grade, right? So he's had enough time to be able to.
Which is what Nathan and Luke are right now.
Correct, exactly. So imagine you take Luke, you're like, peace out, dude. We're gonna move 2 hours away. Yeah. That's tough, right? Like that's tough. So you start thinking about that, and you're like, and then again, right? You know me, I always circle back to faith. And so I was just like, all right, like, Lord, what's going on? Well, let's just go through the process. Okay. Because I was like, shoot, I don't even know if Brianna has, like, her company has an office out here. Like how, because we cannot live on one out here in good old Southern California.
Yes.
Oh, again, come on down.
Come on down. Rent's cheap.
Yeah.
And taxes are low.
Yeah. It's beautiful. So I was like, babe, like we just, let's look through that. If so she works, she's a workers' comp adjuster, right? And the company is headquartered in downtown San Diego. And so not only is there an office there, this is like a prominent section where it is. So that's important as I continue this story, right? Like, okay, I'm going to put it there. Like, okay, well, she does have an office there. So that's out the window, right? Like, okay. And so we're thinking through it. And I said, all right, look, like if this is God and it's supposed to go down, then it's going to go down, right? So let's just go through the process. So we go on Zillow. Now, listen, at the same time, I'll caveat it, like I was not going to get this promotion until I showed like proof of a mortgage or a lease. So it was only at that point would I then get the promotion. So I'm going to San Diego,
so you had
looking at spots.
You had to prove you're going to move there.
Correct. So I'm going I was like,
what happens if you guys?
But what about trust?
Yes. So you want me to go ahead and front this?
Yeah, and let me I'll just tell you right now. I'll go ahead and I'll tell all you guys. I had about $14 in the bank account. You know what I mean? Like, we did not have the money to talk about whatever. So we're just looking at prices, and where my brain always goes is just like, what can we do once I get that promotion from a monthly payment? Yeah. What could be the thing that we could do? Because there was no way we're freaking buying. Like, there's no way. Like, we had 0 down payment. Like, I'm not going to ask for that chunk of money from fam or whatever. Like, it just, what? So I was like, look, first things first, go through Zillow. So we go through Zillow, we find a house. Okay. I would call bosses. I'm like, I'm going to take the day off tomorrow. We're cruising down to San Diego. We're going to check out these houses that we found. The day before we leave, talking about like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, boop, that house sold. And so me and Bree look at each other and we're just like, like, what are we going to do? Whatever. And I was like, you know what, man? Like, if it's God and that got sold, like, maybe that's something. Maybe we're not supposed to go down, whatever. So anyway, she goes on, finds like 3 houses, right? Okay, they're all up. Oh, here's the other thing. All houses that were up for sale, which was going to be like a no-go out the gate for us to go, it's COVID.
Yeah.
No one's buying a house. So a lot of them put them up for rent. So that's another one. Put that over here, right? Night before we go down to San Diego, I was like, going to San Diego anyway. She finds 3 houses. Very first one. So we take Jaden, my 5th grader, and we're telling him, and he's fighting us. It's just like, cool. I mean, I'll go there, whatever. Like, but I don't want to leave my friends. Like, I don't want to leave my friends. It is what it is. Like, I don't want to leave my friends. And I was like, and as a dad, like in your chest, like in the pit of your stomach, you feel that, right? Like, this is the part. This is where the second guessing kind of comes in. Like, am I chasing money only? Or am I actually, like, is my narrative of I want to take my family out of this situation the actual truth? Or it's a pretty facade, it's a pretty narrative, but I'm really just trying to chase that money. So, like, there was kind of that going on, right? So that's why I was like, I'm taking you. Like, you're going to go with us and check this out.
And that's just a, like, right, so as a dad, and this is just something I want to interject.
Yeah, of course.
Because I, as part of my own journey, I went through a process of learning how to reparent yourself, right? Where you talk to your kids as that equivalent of you, right? So if your son's 10 or 11 at the time, you put your 10 or 11-year-old self in his shoes.
Yes.
Right. And so you talk to yourself as a 10 or 11-year-old, you know, even if it's not in the moment, it's just sort of like preparing for it. And so, yeah, it's total. But what I found, though, this is, you know, years later after becoming a dad, is that's what you did anyway. Right. Like you that pit of your stomach is not. For me, I didn't find I'm worried about this so much. I mean, you're worried about the obvious things.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like you're insecure for your kids. It's like, you don't even need to be afraid or insecure, because I'm going to do that for you.
Yes.
And yeah, I think as dads, like that's, you know, I think moms get it. Moms worry. But I think dads project like onto their sons, and kind of vice versa, right? Like you're constantly seeing yourself in your son, and especially your oldest, right? Because he's your oldest.
That's right. That's right.
And so they're the ones that you really get to screw up.
Yeah.
But the ones you worry like, because it's your first, right?
It's your first, right? So, yeah, 100%.
Tests and everything.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true.
So your first doesn't want to leave.
First doesn't want to leave, right? So we're like, look, come with us, because we're still unsure.
Yeah.
And you're a part of this. That was the other thing, is giving him power. You're a part of this decision, right? It's not a dictatorship. There will be an ultimate decision, right? Sure. But you are a part of that process. And so
listen to his voice.
Yeah, absolutely. And him understanding that he's heard, right? Like actually heard. Like not just, all right, that's cute, man, but we're going to do this. But like, no, I understand, and going in depth in that conversation. And we had 2 hours anyway. So like, let's go ahead and make conversation while we're driving down. So the interesting thing is, during COVID, you would do a lot of virtual tours, right? Of these homes. And then if you did go visit it, oftentimes you would just only be able to see the exterior, or you'd have to mask up all sick, and then maybe you could peek in for a minute and then roll out. 2 of the 3 homes had people living in it. So they would just be out, and then you go check it out and whatever, right? And I was like, that is a little less weird. That's a box of weird, dude. I was just like, like, what if it stank? You know what I mean? What if there's stains in weird places? I don't want that.
That's a whole story for another time.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna go deep into that. I'm just saying, like, that's where my brain went.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go to the one that doesn't have the furniture first. So at least like we could see like what's going on, you know? Yeah. And so are you worried that it's not recording?
I think this only works if it's on board. I was trying to pause the recording. I'm worried what it's going to look like with this like side of our heads the whole time. Like, we're telling each other the story, but I'm wondering if we should just look at each other
in here.
On here. What do you think?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
So for the remainder of it, you pause it, or this is
still going?
But you could take it out.
That's fine.
So for the remainder,
Or I'll leave.
there's this way, right? No bloopers. This is a blooper. I'm down. No, I agree. I also started doing this. I was just.
Yeah, I saw it. And we missed each other.
Did you see that? Yeah, same. I looked here. I was like, "Catch it." No, you didn't. Okay.
I was like,
hold on.
Flag on the play.
Okay, I got you. I'm with you. We're gonna stare at each other this way.
Just bring it up. For the remainder of the story, we're going to be looking at the camera.
That's right. We're going to be looking at the camera and looking at you guys.
We have a screen up so we can see each other for this purpose.
That's right. And we were staring at, we're locked in each other's eyes the whole time, and then we got dizzy.
And now a quick word from our sponsor.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Purchase Green Artificial Grass and Supplies, a local wholesale retail distributor with everything you need, all in one place for not only artificial grass installation, but also modular tile flooring for your garage and or outdoor spaces, be it basketball, pickleball, volleyball courts, and more. With over 65 locations nationwide, Purchase Green is your number one resource as the Artificial Grass Authority, specialized service and support, and unparalleled product fulfillment. Go to purchasegreen.com to find your nearest location. That's purchasegreen.com. Purchase Green, the grass is greener because we're on your side.
And now back to the show.
What side would you consider this side my good side? Because you have to look at this.
Hold on, do it again.
You have to look
the
at
other
this side, but this is where my part is. I kind of feel like that's my good side.
Dude, that is kind of dope when you have the line.
Enough about me.
That's the whole reason I chose to do my hair this way. Okay, so during COVID, going to the thing, I'm like, look, let's go to the spot where they don't have people living there, and it might be funky or whatever, right? Like, let's go and check out the first one. So we cruise up, and the gal that we're meeting there, she's sitting on the driveway. She has a clipboard and a mask on. I was like, here we go. And so we get out, super kind. She's like, hey, my name's Jenny, da-da-da. Sign these waivers. And the waivers are just,
right.
Yeah, it was a whole thing,
waivers,
right? Like, it was a whole thing. So we signed the waivers, and then what was awesome is she was just like, go do your thing. House is open, go explore, right? Check things out, all good.
Yeah.
We walk into this place, dude. This place is gorgeous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous. 2 stories, 4 bedrooms. The view is beautiful, right? You're able to see kind of everything there. And I'm in my brain going like, crackhead, this. Crackhead, this, right? Like, oh my goodness. Now at the same time, I'm just like, we don't have this money. Nope, we don't have this house, right? But I was like, man, so yeah, I'll take it. So we go through all the rooms and stuff like that, and I look at Bree, and she's just like, hey, and I was like, yep, I feel the same. And then I look at Jaden, and he was like, this room is big. Like, hey, this is kind of cool. And I was like, okay, like, all right. Would we? Are we even trying to see? I really was trying to avoid the other houses with furniture still in it. Yeah. I was getting creeped out. But all of us had the same sense of just like, this would be the one if whatever. Mm-hmm. And so then I remember telling them, I was like, okay, well, listen, poker face. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, because the next part of the discussion is going to talk about numbers that do not exist in our bank account. Like, there's going to be numbers said. I need you to have a poker face and be cool about it. I'll handle the talking. Just be chill. They're like, all right, whatever.
Every dad's negotiation ever.
Yeah. And for real.
Car, engagement ring, wedding, vacation.
And you knew I didn't have nothing. Yeah. I didn't have nothing. So we get out there, and I was like, you know what? Really, really interested in this one. Like, what are the best next steps? She's like, oh, well, here's the application, and what it is, the first and last month's rent, and then security deposit, And she's like, yeah, no, it's cool. You know what I mean? About $6,000. And then you're good. Like, you're in there. And this is when I was like, to Bree and Jaden, like, just keep it together. And I was like, excellent. Hey, listen, could I take that home with me? That way I can go ahead and just fill it out. You know, I can fill it out at the house, and then I can go ahead and just send it back to you. Does that make sense for us? She's like, no, absolutely, go ahead. I was like, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jenny. We jump into the car, and I was like, not yet. And then we rolled down the street, we make a left, And I was like, okay, let it rip. They're like, how are we gonna pay for this? What is that? $6,000? That's crazy. I mean, it's a nice house, beautiful neighborhood, but like, are you kidding me? Like, we don't have this money. Like, who are we gonna do? We start asking family, like, hey, can you please donate to the Turcotte Fund? Can you please whatever? And I remember just like, this was one of the moments where I did not have a second guess. This is one of the moments where I was just like, once again, like the theme was, if it's God and it's meant to be, then it's gonna be. So I said, we're actually not going to ask anybody. We're not going to call anybody. What we're going to do is we're going to tell the story so far. The story of a part that I forgot is when we were talking to Jenny, she was like, this is incredible because on this block, and then she named all the young families and kids are our same age.
Oh, wow.
And you remember Nerf gun battle because the crackheads are outside. Like, they're going to eventually get tired of me saying, let's play freeze tag. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to get weird after a while. 15-year-old, oh, I gotcha. You know? So that was another part of the story, right? Like, okay. So, all right. So I was like, we're just going to tell this story. Well, as we get out of the neighborhood, if you first drive in this freaking neighborhood and you are not familiar with it, like, you're lost immediately. Like, you don't know where you're at, dude. I'm even the GPS, it's all in Australian, so now I'm like mad at the Aussies, dude, because like I feel like he's judging me. He was like, what are you doing? Right? I don't even know if that was that Australian? It's kind of British or whatever.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, loud down under. They don't talk like that. What's with the arms? I don't know what I'm doing.
I like somebody described Australians as like British rednecks.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I always loved it. No offense to the Aussies.
Right, correct.
Yeah, we love you.
We yes.
Even Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes, and he was born.
Correct.
Was he born in the land of Oz? Wicked. Ah! That was too much all at one time.
Well, you're just kind of defying gravity right now.
Does that make me popular? Nailed it. Okay.
Okay, that was good.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
I wouldn't have any more. That's all I got. Only because it just came
out. The thing's off. Hopefully that way
it might still be going.
Yeah, the music might still be going. Okay, so I'm getting lost, right? And I'm yelling at Thor for no reason, right, with his accent, and it's getting out of control, but I know he has a hammer, so I'm not getting too crazy, right? Because he could just light a Buddha, and then it's coming through the Corolla, and now it's over. Anyway, so I make this one fight. We get on a main street, and I was like, I think the freeway, if I take a right, and I pull into this parking lot, and this parking lot is St. Thomas More, right? And I was like, okay, there's another one. That's right. Yep, right. So St. Thomas More Catholic Church were up in there, and I was like, okay. You got the kids of the same age as young neighborhood. You got all these sorts of things, right, lining up, and then when I'm just like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna do it? Then get lost. Only to know that I was on the right path the whole time, because then I swoop up in that parking lot. Like, and by the way, now it's like May 22nd.
Okay.
Right?
A few days left.
Yeah, a few days left, right? To like say yes or no. So actually, when's Mother's Day?
A few days to prove that you move.
Mom, I love you, but when's Mother's Day? This May something, right? It floats around like 13th, 16th.
First Sunday in May.
Okay.
My recollection.
Well,
first Sunday or second Sunday?
I think it's the second Sunday. Only because my birthday is May 14th, and sometimes it lands on it.
Yes.
My birthday is May 14th.
Is Father's Day the third Sunday? Sorry.
Of June.
Yeah.
Leave it in the comments, y'all.
Please, yes. Oh, that's what comments are good for.
That's what the comments. We'll turn on the comments.
I know, we're gonna have to enable it. We didn't want to turn on the comments just because we're afraid of what people will comment.
Yeah. I respect trolls, but scared of them.
I love their movies.
Yes, I like their hair.
Me too.
So
May 22nd.
May 22nd.
2020.
And it's like, okay, dude, freaking $6,000. Like, what is happening? And so we start telling the story. Hey, we're just gonna tell the story. We tell the story. And I was like, that's cool. We only told the story twice. Like, come on now. Like, if it's God, man, it's faith and works, baby. You got to put the work in. And then we told the story like 9 times, and then we told it like 12 times. Now it's like, nah. Okay, And what was weird is that like there was a part of me that now was getting disappointed, like if that wasn't gonna work. Whereas before I was looking for a cop out to be able to get out of it. So now I'm conflicted, and that's
and when you say you're telling the story, who are you telling the story to?
oh, like family members.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Right, and then maybe some like close friends, family friends.
Got it.
You know, to just really tell the story, and they're like, "That's phenomenal. I think God is like trying to tell you something." I was like, "Yep, might be trying to tell you something." You know what? Just pick up that dial every now and then. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you got service. Make sure you got bars. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, Venmo.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, was that a QR code?
I was like, that's it. Can you Venmo? Okay.
I think that's why they.
That was funny. So now it's Mother's Day, right? Which is why I bring that whole thing up. And now I'm just telling a story, and I'm telling my sister, right? And she's just like, man, I know, like, this would be a great opportunity for you guys, this and that, whatever. And okay, and then, you know, kind of doing the Mother's Day thing, and then my mom just pulls me into the kitchen. She's like, look, how much do you need for this thing? So I tell her, like $6,000. Right? She goes, look, like you have to pay me back. Yeah. Mom, like I let you float me $6,000, and I was like, thanks, yo. I'll pay you back in visits.
Yeah. Hugs and kisses.
Hugs and kisses. Loved you first. So yeah, I was like, no, Mom, of course. Like, are you kidding me? She was like, all right, cool, let's roll. So the next day, then we straight up drove to the bank. You had to wait outside in the line because it was COVID. Yeah. Remember that whole thing? Cut the check, right? Now here's what's bananas. So then that next week, so now we're running up on it. Maybe this is where it's like the 22nd, 24th, around there. I drive up, I drop off the check, same Jenny, right? Okay, boom, we got it. All right. And the rent was stupid, like way lower than what it should be for that home. That was the other piece too, that I was just like, all right, man, like this is crazy. So that all happens the next day after my mom took me to the bank. Stimulus check. We have a family of 5. That stimulus check was for the amount that she gave us. So we just took that check and gave it to her. See what I'm saying? I got chills right now. I was just like, all right, let's go. Right? And then that's where second guessing turned into trust. Because now, okay, well, now we're all going. Right? And now circle back to Jaden. Now I got to tell you, like, we're going. Like, it's happening.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
Right? Well, it was tough because now he didn't actually have an opportunity in person to say goodbye to his friends because COVID hit and it locked down. So he was doing his learning on the laptop.
Yeah.
So now he's isolated because they shut it down in March, right? So he's isolated, 2 months now? So, and he didn't have a phone. He's in 5th grade. We're not crazy. Like, so he didn't have a phone.
No offense.
I'm so sorry. Hey, I respect. Go ahead. You know, I'm actually with my daughter. I'm just like, yeah, maybe we'll just put an implant of a cell chip in her dome.
Neuralink.
Yeah, but that's more or less for me to be like, go to sleep.
Oh, that'd
right?
be nice. Awesome.
I'm working on it. The patent's in they're reviewing it. So my oldest son's birthday is May 31st. We move on May 30th. So we drive all the way up there, 2 different trips, right? Long day, family, friends, you know, helping out for us to move, which was amazing. We move in, we get up in there, and we kind of like, it's COVID. It's the day before his birthday. We have like this ghetto cake, and we're like singing him happy birthday in like this empty house in a place that he has to stay at that he doesn't have friends for, and so on and so forth. Like, and that part was tough. Right, being out there, and so we're there, and then everyone leaves, and now it's his birthday, and here you are. You guys are in this new place, so you're excited, but you're also incredibly scared.
Yeah.
You know, but it's undeniable that you were supposed to be here. There's way too many coincidences, right? That happened for me to be there. So here's where you were talking about, you know, 11-year-old self talks.
Yeah.
The amount of conversation that I had with him was incredible. To be able to sit and say, hey, listen, this decision isn't to uproot you.
Mm-hmm.
this decision, I believe, is going to empower you. It's going to be better for you. I do not know what that looks like, and I understand in your gut there may be some disdain or whatever towards me, right? That like, why you are the one who did this, and I'm alone at a pivotal age, right? 5th, 6th, 7th, hitting that middle school situation is crazy. Well, here's the deal: is 6th grade, COVID still popping, digital learning.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody went physically to school.
Yeah, I know.
In 6th grade, right? So
you got to meet each other.
Yeah, and so you can't meet. And you have the neighborhood kids, so they start forming the bond. It's a little awkward at first, right? But then they start forming the bond, which is cool. But I think what's rad about that is nobody went to school in 6th grade, even all the people that knew each other from 1st grade to 5th grade. So when he went to 7th grade, so did everybody else. So there wasn't this, I'm going there by myself. And to me, again, I was just like, okay. You talk about like gift amidst the chaos, right? Opportunity and where to kind of look for those gifts. Would you look for those gifts in something like that? You know what I mean? When he's uprooted and things of that nature. And anyway, so that's sort of the story. Like as a father, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What you do for the sake of your family and the results that it has on your child in the age that they're at is huge. The other part of that is he's watching me the whole time. Mm-hmm. All 3 of the kids are watching me the whole time, and how I'm handling that sort of situation, right?
Reading your emotions.
Right. Like, does he know what he's...
Yeah.
How is he handling it? Because if he freaks out, I'm going to lose my mind.
Like,
you know, like...
Yeah, you're not allowed to freak out.
That's it. Which is insane. You know what I mean?
Hold it together.
Hold it together, dude. A lot of conversations with my wife. A lot of just like, for real though, Lord, like, okay. There's a path. That's cool. I don't see the path. I see like your heel.
It's kind of dusty back here.
Yeah. And I told you I wear contacts. You know what I mean? I was damn it dry, right? It's ridiculous.
I can't see where we're going.
So yeah, you know, that's sort of the story there. And what's crazy now is fast forward, and my oldest is 15, and he's thriving right now, right? I mean, his friend group, he found an amazing amount. Like his extended friend group is, 13, 15 deep, but he's got like 3 solid that are like his boys, right?
Yeah.
They're good dudes. Like fast forward, that same church, right, that I accidentally got lost on is now where I'm playing piano and leading worship and doing that whole thing. It's mind-boggling. So that's it, man. That was, and again, for bad dads, like that's also a story, right? So it's not just about how you messed up directly, indirectly, whatever the case is what story is there, right? This one was something where I was doing something that was going to be better for my family, but then also, right, makes him go through this whole season. So there it is, man.
Yeah. It's such a great story, and I had the privilege to hear it before this, and like we said at the beginning of the episode, there's the self-doubt, there's the second guessing, there's the difficulty trusting the process, and you told the story through and through, and so I think I certainly heard in it what I heard, right? And I can also, as a dad, place myself in that situation. We almost moved our family across the country, but it didn't get that severe. It was more, we flew across the country, we looked at the property, the kids, trying to rally them to get on board, but luckily we had some family out there, and it was a different situation. But so I can feel that too, of trying to put myself back in those shoes of, all right, like, how do you say this, right? And how do you, even if the crackhead next door is super nice and super cool, which when you're telling that actually made me think, would it be crazy if he's like, Lazarus, come out, and like somebody came out of the dumpster? That would have been pretty epic though. Or like the koi fish like walked out. of the pond.
The koi fish is walking on the water.
Yeah. Like calms the storm in the koi pond or something. That would have been something else.
Oh, you're too good, dude. That's hysterical.
But like, right? So, I think when you hear this story, it could sound like, well, yeah, you went from the crackhead next door in the apartment to a house in San Diego, but the feelings don't change, right? Just because the scenery changes, that's what the kids don't get, right? Like as a dad, you can't change the kids' feelings,
right?
And I think I touched on it earlier, but as a dad, you're feeling so many feelings all the time. As I think numb or what's the word? Stoic as dads.
Stoic. Yeah, dude. Ryan Holiday, shout out.
Woo! But yeah, we master in stoicism at times, and we look super calm, but underneath it is all the feels. I know moms have that connection, that bond, and there's like that unspoken language, but I think dads have one too. And again, especially with their sons, where they pick up on it in a different way, because I think there's just this connection of you were in those shoes at some point. And it didn't have to be the same story, right? Like this isn't,
sure, we
don't all share the same story as dads, the exact scenario. It's versions of that scenario. And hey, we felt our kids' anxiety. We second guessed every single decision, right? Like, cause that's, right. You're carrying that on your shoulders. We're in these moments feeling just terrible. We're uprooting our families, taking away everything they know, taking this risk. So you're taking this huge risk to move your family. Yes, things are lining up. Things are happening. But I think it's also so easy for us in our life to just write that off as like, oh, that's coincidence.
Sure.
Oh, sure. I was in the area. I happened to turn into that church parking lot, right? Or, oh, yeah, stimulus check. Like, God didn't do that, right? But, is sort of our good dad, the good father with the hand on the shoulder, like just reaching down, like keep going, right? And that's what I found hearing stories, in sharing stories, and really was a strong motivation to finally get behind a microphone and get other people behind microphones, and I hopefully reach people then on the other end of the microphone to hear these stories. I really appreciate you sharing your story today, and I hope those listening that a piece of that resonated with you, and that's what we're here for. We're here to share the stories. We're here to remind you that it's okay to have those moments where you don't feel like you're at your best. It's okay if you're doubting yourself. It's okay if you're not trusting the process, because that's what we all do sometimes. And if you have any ideas for show episodes, go to baddads.com. That's bad-dads.com. And go to the podcast tab and scroll down. You'll find a contact form where you can submit ideas, whether it's maybe somebody that you think would have a good story to share, or if it's you that has a story to share. Yes. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get you on here to share your story, just like Josh did today. And we want to remind everybody that
just because you're a bad dad sometimes doesn't mean you have to stay one.
That's right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great one. Music.